Okay, this one should be interesting. Part A is asking for something called the domain. Definitely a simple vocabulary word, simple but very important. And again, I'm just writing this down for the sake of the video. It's not something I would write down if I was actually doing this on the exam, but what does the domain mean? Do we know what the domain is? Well, you should know that the domain means the set of all x values in a relation. So domain, always you talk about domain with range. So domain and range. Domain is all the x values. The range is all of the y values. So all we have to do is list them. So when we look up here, we got all these ordered pairs go x, comma, y, x, comma, y, x, comma, y, and you guessed it, x, comma, y. So my x values are 2, 4, 2 again, and 1. All I got to do is list them. Normally, you put them in a curly brace. It's just a matter of notation. I don't know if that would make them, if you didn't, I don't know if they'd mark you wrong. I don't think they would, but anyway. Normally, and also, if you didn't put them in order, I don't think they'd mark you wrong, but I don't know. The other thing is that we do not have to write, and you shouldn't write the 2 more than once. It doesn't matter that it occurred more than once. You would only write it one time, so your final answer would be 1, 2, 4. And that's all of the x values in the relation. Part B talks about removing one of these ordered pairs in order for the other ordered pairs to form a straight line. Well, if they were all on the same line, then if you were to find the slope between any two of them, the slope between 2, 6 and 4, 10, the slope, and it might be very easy to do. You know, like these numbers are small enough and simple enough. It might be pretty simple to find all of the slopes, and maybe that's what I should do, or what you want to do is figure out, like, you know, which point, whenever you use that point, it gets you a different slope than any other time, I guess. But 2, 6, and 4, 10. You could also just, which pole should you remove in order? Okay. Anyway, I'm going to see, just to kind of do it another way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 2, 3, 4, 5. And so maybe just by sketching a quick little graph, maybe it'll be obvious just in a little sketch. So 2, 6, 4, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 6, 4, 10, 2, 8, and 1, 4. Okay. I guess I probably should have realized, well, I mean, I don't feel that bad, but I guess I probably should have figured out that it was at least one of those two, because they had the same x coordinate and stuff like that. So anyway, as it happens, yeah, it looks like it'd be this one. You know, and if you wanted to double check, you know, like what's the slope from here to here? What's the slope from here to here? What's the slope from here to here? You know, that would confirm it, but I'm going to go with 2, 8 just by my rough sketch of those plots, okay? Because it's not like they needed you to show any work, did they? No. If they would have asked for you to show some work, then you might have actually, well, maybe the graph would have done it just by sketching this graph. That might have been enough. Or you could have like literally calculated all these different slopes between all these different pairs of points. Part C, Kent would like a pole to be placed at coordinates x, comma, 0. What should be the value of x and if all line with the other? Okay. X, comma, 0. So you could do this if you, I mean, the better the sketch, you could also sort of do this graphically, you know? But let's do this. Let's actually, just being very exact, let's do 2, 6, and 4, 10. I don't trust my rough sketch. So my slope would actually be 10 minus 6 so my overall slope should actually be 2. Up 2 over 1. That looks right, doesn't it? Up 2 over 1. Anyway, so what this means is if the slope between these 2 points is 2, then the slope between, say, this point and this point should also equal 2. So we got, let's say, so 2 comma 6 and x comma 0, this slope should also equal 2. So we have 0 minus 6 all over x minus 2. This should also equal 2. All right? So we have negative 6 over, okay? Now we could cross multiply or just multiply both sides by x minus 2 over here and continue solving for x, but wouldn't negative 6 over negative 3 get this? So x minus 2 has got to equal negative 3. So when so it looks like my x value would be negative 1. Let's see if that, so negative 1 comma 0, right? Negative 1, oops, where am I going? So would negative 1 comma 0 make any sense? Well, if we went down 2 over 1 again, bam, down 2. That seems right when you double check it with my rough sketch here graphically, okay? Part D wants the, of course, equation. What is the equation of the line that connects the locations of these 4 poles? Now look, in general, when they want an equation, if you are aware of M and B, if you know what M is, and we already know that M equals 2, and if you are aware what B is your y-intercept, which I hope you are aware of, that M represents your slope and B represents your y-intercept. It's clear enough to me that my y-intercept is 2. So I could probably, with a lot of confidence, already do this whole y equals mx plus b and just plug in, because I know that m is 2, and b is 2. Once again, in case you missed that, your y-intercept is where your line intersects the y-axis, and that appears very, very strongly, very clearly to be 2. So I'm pretty sure that our equation is going to be y equals 2x plus 2. All right? Now, with that in mind, I'm going to just do it a different way and just be extra, extra, extra sure. You know, just in the interest of reviewing other things and just going above and beyond what the problem, just getting. I just want to get the problem done. So 2, 6, and 4, 10. So if I were to go like this, two, 6, 4, 10, because I know for sure, well, for sure enough, that 2, 6, and 4, 10 are points on my line. And when you have 2 points, you can figure out m, and that's what you should do first. We already did it. M turns out to be 2. And then you can go ahead and plug into this formula. Is another thing. It's one option you have, because you would have m and you would have a point. And with this formula, this point slope formula, you plug in for m, and then you plug the coordinates of one point in for x1 and y1. So we could do, and I'm going to choose 2, 6. So I'm going to plug in 6 for y1, 2 for m, of course, and so there's x1, there's y1. And check this out. I want to point this out too. Did they ask for any specific form? No. So if I were to write this exact thing for my final answer, they should not be able to mark you wrong, because this is not the most common way you see equations, but it's an equation, and they didn't ask specifically for slope-intercept form. So this should be good enough. But again, why the heck not? Just kind of distribute and then get y by itself and end up with, unbelievably, what I had like 5 minutes ago, what I knew what it was. Y equals 2x plus 2.